Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Dave D Fishing. So in this video we're going to be fishing for mackerel in the Cape Cod Canal. So it is fall, middle of November. It is a great time to go down to the canal and go catch mackerel. This time of year you might catch pollock along with them. You still might catch a stray striper or two. I'm trying to think what else might be in there. There's squid this time of year. Yeah, there's all kinds of fish. So it is a fun time of year and you're not fighting those die-hard striper fans that are fighting with each other, you know what I mean? So the canal is a well-known place to go catch mackerel this time of year. I'm not too concerned with spot burning because it's in almost all the local fishing reporting media sources like On the Water, the Fisherman magazine. It's pretty common knowledge, so I don't feel too bad. So I'm just going to talk briefly about what you can do to go catch these mackerel down there. It is not difficult. Fishing for mackerel isn't really a competitive thing. You might bump into a lot of people fishing for mackerel at that time, but it's okay. Chill out. It's not meant to be a stressful type of thing when you're like close combat fishing for stripers in the canal. It is not supposed to be like that. So when you go down there and fish for mackerel, you need to chill. So what you definitely need when you're going fishing for mackerel in the canal, or even if you're going up near the South Shore of Massachusetts, in deeper areas with a lot of current, you're going to need a rod that can handle up to, I'm going to say 4 or 5 ounces. So I'd recommend a 10-foot to 12-foot rod for strength, because you might be chucking some heavier rigs for these things. You're going to need a reel that matches it. In my case, I'm using a 10-foot rod. It's actually my carp fishing setup right here, because that's all I have right now. And I feel like pulling more stuff out. So I'm using a 10-foot rod, 4,000 size reel, 20-pound braided mainline. It definitely helps when you're casting long distances to have braided line because it cuts through the wind better, and it allows the lure and rig to sink quicker, because monofilament has a wider diameter. It catches the water and the wind more and that type of thing, and braid's more sensitive. So yep, so 10 to 12 foot rod, braided line preferably. I don't think you really need to get over 20-pound test for catching mackerel at all. And if you do accidentally catch a striper or anything a little bit larger, 20-pound test should be more than enough to handle most of those fish. As far as rigs, you can go to really any of the bait shops around this area or wherever you're living at. So I'm in Massachusetts fishing down the Cape. So there's Red Top down there that sells all kinds of fish and stuff. Forever Bait and Tackle, Belson's, there's a bunch of tackle shops around here. They will have some sort of tackle to go catch mackerel rigs. So most mackerel rigs you can use sabikis, or they have more mackerel specific type rigs with the larger teaser on there. Usually it's some sort of plastic tubing. The hooks are usually a little bit larger, and they'll usually come as a rig that has up to, I believe, 6 hooks on it. And then there's usually a clip at the bottom of that rig where you could either attach a diamond jig or you can attach a sinker, really whatever type of jig you want. I'm being more difficult in this video because that's how I am. I like to make my own stuff and just try it because I really enjoy doing it. It's not for views or anything like that, it's just what I do naturally. So I'm using these little teasers that I made. This is a 2.0 cheap Gamakatsu octopus hook that I tied some pink synthetic hair onto. I love making these things. I usually make them in the winter when I'm bored. Another one. I'm gonna have 2 of these on there, and they're both, so I'm using 2 hooks only on my rig. They're both on dropper loops, easy to replace with the way they're attached. And then at the bottom, using a 60-gram Johnny Jigs slow pitch jig. So like I said, I'm bored. You don't have to do this. 60 grams, I believe it's around 2.5, 3 ounces or something like that is what this jig actually weighs in ounces. You want to be able to launch this thing pretty far out, and that's why I said you need the longer rod. If you've ever been to the canal, you can see where those rips are, those areas where current tends to change direction, those slack areas. That's where you want to be fishing for mackerel, because all the bait is going to be sitting in those areas, and the mackerel will follow the bait and they're obviously be eating them. So you want to be able to cast your jig in there no matter, even if it's a little farther off, you want to be able to reach a little bit farther rather than what you could normally with like a 7-foot rod that 10, 12-foot rod will definitely get you out to where you need to be fishing. This is sort of mindless fishing as far as the jigging technique. Cast it out, let it sink a little bit, and you're just sort of lifting it. That's it. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, like you see on the charter boats and that type of thing. It is really mindless. I'm not going to get too technical about it. You can see me do it in the video. And that's really it. So mackerel, you can only keep 20 mackerel an outing this year. So 20 mackerel per person. So you don't want to catch too many of them. Before, it is really easy, and it's really easy to get carried away in catching a million of them. I caught 20 and left, and it's really hard to leave them like that because I use them for bait. I slice them up this time of year for whiting, which I hope to do a video this year. I'll use them for crab bait to go catch crab for it to tog, and very occasionally I'll eat them. But yeah, that's it. All right, let's go get fishing. It is a windy day out this trip. I'm sorry about the noise. Let's go catch some mackerel. All right, guys, so we're fishing at the Cape Cod Canal for mackerel. Like I said earlier, fishing at the end of a jetty, and you can see all this current out in front of me. We're casting into this slack area. So slack areas like this will often hold the food items that the mackerel are looking for, i.e. silver sides, peanut bunker. In this case today, it was sand eels. So you want to be casting in the slack area, letting the jig or the rig that you're using drop down a little bit, and you're just jigging it up and down like this. Like I said, it's pretty mindless. So these mackerel will fly through these slack areas in waves. So 1 minute you might catch 10 of them, and then you'll go a while without catching them. But if you keep fishing these areas, eventually those mackerel will come back. Fishing this type of area this time of year, you can see all the current, and it's windy out, it's cold out. You should have some sort of footwear, i.e. corkers, that help you grip these rocks a little bit better because you have algae on the rocks, waves coming up on the rocks, making things slippery. It's really easy to fall off these things and get swept away or get hypothermia, and you could really die. It is no joke. So get some good footwear before you jump out on these rocks. Here's another advantage to using a longer 10 to 12 foot rod on a jetty is because you can swing those fish up and over those rocks if you don't feel like climbing down there. So I just swung all 3 mackerel up over this section without an issue. All right, so I moved a little bit down towards the beginning of the jetty because I saw this nice big slack area that I'm fishing right now. 10-foot rod could reach out towards the edge of this slack section, no problem. So I'm just going to jig here for a little bit, see if I can't pick up some more mackerel. Mackerel like to travel up and down the water column a lot within a given period of time, so don't be hesitant to try the bottom, middle, and top of the water column. You might find the fish biting at the top for a couple minutes and then down at the bottom. Mackerel do not stay in one place for a long amount of time, so just keep trying different depths until you find them.
Oh, God.
One of those 3 mackerel I just caught coughed up this 4-inch sand eel, and I found out later these mackerel were filled with them.
What the hell I got? Oh boy, I can't even feel my hands right now. It's time to go. Time to go.
So this is mackerel number 20, so I'm done. I can't feel my fingers, my face hurts to breathe. The cold has sucked all the moisture out of my lungs, and I'm done. I gotta go home at this point. But it was a good day. Caught my 20 mackerel. Now I'm gonna go home, cook a couple of them, and then the rest are gonna be used for bait.